HOA Karens sent fines to my dead relatives, didn't know it violated federal law. Emily knelt by her grandfather's grave, the damp earth soaking through her jeans. The lilies in her hands trembled as she placed them gently against the cold granite headstone. It had been 6 months since Grandpa Joe passed, yet the pain felt as raw as the day she'd lost him. The cemetery was quiet, save for the rustle of autumn leaves and the distant hum of a lawnmower. She whispered memories to the stone, stories of fishing trips and warm hugs, unaware that her quiet moment of grief was about to be shattered. A sharp voice cut through the silence. Emily Harper, I presume? Karen Mitchell, the HOA president, stood a few feet away, her pristine blazer and clipboard a stark contrast to the somber setting. Her lips curled into a smile that didn't reach her eyes. In her hands were envelopes, dozens of them, each stamped with the HOA's logo. Emily's stomach churned. She'd heard rumors about Karen's iron-fisted rule over the neighborhood, but this was her first direct encounter. What do you want? Emily asked, rising slowly, her voice thick with grief. Karen extended an envelope. This is a fine for your grandfather's property. The lawn hasn't been mowed in weeks, and the mailbox is an eyesore. The HOA has standards, you know. Emily's jaw dropped. He's dead, Karen. He died 6 months ago. How can you fine a dead man? Karen's smile didn't waver. The property is still in his name. Rules are rules. If you don't pay, we'll escalate it to collections. She handed Emily a stack of envelopes, each addressed to her deceased grandfather, detailing petty violations. Untrimmed hedges, faded paint, even a birdhouse deemed non-compliant. The fines totaled thousands. Emily's hands shook as she tore open one envelope. This is insane. You can't do this. It's harassment. Karen shrugged. Take it up with the board. I'm just enforcing the bylaws. She turned on her heel and strode away, leaving Emily clutching the papers, her grief now laced with fury. The next day, Emily stormed into the HOA office, a small building adorned with Karen's framed photo and a sign boasting community pride. She demanded answers, but Karen doubled down, claiming the fines were legal and necessary to maintain property values. Emily's pleas about her grandfather's passing fell on deaf ears. If you can't afford it, Karen said coldly, sell the house. Desperate, Emily sought help from a local lawyer, Mr. Daniels, a kind-eyed man who'd known her grandfather. He reviewed the fines and frowned. This isn't just unethical, it's illegal. The Fair Debt Collection Practices Act prohibits pursuing debts from deceased individuals' estates without proper procedure. Karen's overstepped. He agreed to take the case pro bono, sensing the injustice. As Emily and Mr. Daniels prepared for a legal battle, a surprising ally emerged. Mrs. Thompson, a quiet widow who lived across from Grandpa Joe's house. She'd always kept to herself, tending her roses and avoiding HOA meetings. But one evening, she knocked on Emily's door, her hands trembling. I've been watching Karen, she whispered. She's been finding other families, 2 people who've lost loved ones. I kept records. Mrs. Thompson handed Emily a notebook filled with dates, names, and fine amounts, some targeting estates of the recently deceased. It was a bombshell, revealing Karen's pattern of exploitation. The twist deepened Emily's resolve. This wasn't just about her grandfather, it was about a community bullied by one woman's unchecked power. Armed with Mrs. Thompson's evidence, Emily and Mr. Daniels filed a class action lawsuit against Karen and the HOA, alleging violations of federal law and emotional distress. Word spread, and neighbors who'd once feared Karen joined the cause, sharing their own stories of harassment. The courtroom was packed on the trial day. Karen sat smugly, confident her bylaws were ironclad. But Mr. Daniels dismantled her defense, presenting the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act and Mrs. Thompson's meticulous records. The judge's face grew stern as he reviewed the evidence. Ms. Mitchell, he said, your actions not only violated federal law but preyed on grieving families. This is unconscionable. Emily felt a flicker of hope, but the victory was bittersweet. The judge ordered the HOA to retract all fines and pay restitution, and Karen was removed as president. Yet the damage was done. Emily's memories of her grandfather were now tainted by this ordeal, and the community's trust was fractured. Neighbors who'd once waved warmly now eyed each other warily, wondering who else had suffered in silence. As Emily stood by her grandfather's grave weeks later, the lilies fresh again, she felt a weight lift but not vanish. The fines were gone, but the scars remained. She thought of Mrs. Thompson, whose quiet courage had turned the tide, and of the neighbors who'd rallied together. Justice had been served, but at what cost? Karen had moved away, unrepentant, leaving behind a community grappling with its own complicity in letting her reign unchecked for so long. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the cemetery. Emily traced her grandfather's name on the headstone, whispering, "We did it, Grandpa. But it shouldn't have come to this." The fight had exposed not just Karen's cruelty, but the fragility of community bonds when fear and apathy take root. What do you think? Where does the line fall between enforcing rules and exploiting grief? Share your thoughts on justice and community responsibility.